video, I'll teach you how I decorate figure skating dresses with crystals. So at this point, I've got my finished dress, but it's looking pretty plain, so it's time to add some crystals. Always make sure you prep your costume by putting something like a magazine or cardboard between the layers of the dress. This is to prevent you from gluing the front and back of your dress together. And here I'm just arranging the crystals to where I want them on the dress, just to make sure they look good before I start using the glue. I'm using 3 different sizes of crystals to give it more of a random look. So the glue I'm using is E6000 in clear, which is an industrial strength adhesive. This is the only glue I'd recommend using. It has some stretch in the glue, so the gems won't pop off when you stretch the costume. You can wash your costumes without the gems falling off, and it can withstand cold temperatures. But you do have to be careful that you don't get it anywhere else in the costume where you don't want a gem, as it does leave a little bit of a mark. I also wouldn't recommend using hot fix crystals because for skating dresses you're going to be using synthetic materials that will burn. So to apply, I'll just take a toothpick and get some glue on the end and use that to put the glue onto the costume where I want the crystal to go, and just use my finger to press the crystal down. You have to be careful about how much glue you use, because if you use too little, the gems still could fall off, but if you use too much, you can get some leakage around the edge, which doesn't look that nice. This glue does dry quite quick, so I'll just use a little bit at a time. But you still need to give the glue time to set, so I would recommend applying your crystals at least 24 hours before you need to wear the dress. Once I'm done with the front, I move on to the back, and I'm just gonna go and scatter my crystals again using the same technique that I used on the front. And finally, I'm going to move on to these 2 straps here. So for these, I just wanted a straight line of crystals across, and I'm going to use my different sizes to add a little bit of dimension. When I'm arranging crystals into a straight line or pattern like this, I like to use a tool called a crystal katana. It's got a pointed wax tip on one end to help move the crystal, and then the other end has a pointed tip to press down the crystal. So this tool just helps me so I don't knock any of the other crystals while I'm doing this. It's not necessary, but it just makes things a little bit easier. I'm just cleaning some excess glue with the other end of my toothpick.